being hired to be slivers of myself. Everything just feels personal, and you feel naked and completely vulnerable and humiliated.
Only for Tyler Perry to admit he did start a rumor that I was difficult to work with.
Now, actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry sued for $260 million over harassment allegations. The complaint filed in Los Angeles accuses Perry of creating a, quote, coercive, sexually exploitative dynamic with actor Derek Dixon.
Honey, let's talk about Gabrielle Union, the woman who's always been classy, quiet, and never the one to stir the pot. But baby, when she dipped from one of the biggest studios in Black Hollywood 13 years ago and said nothing, that silence, it screamed. Now, after all those years of keeping it cute and classy, she's finally spilling every last drop of that tea, and baby, it is boiling.
Step up and question more. And it was in the questioning amongst greatness that I was like, this feels great. I feel like I did something here.
This wasn't just about getting lowballed on a check. Gabrielle saw the mistreatment with her own eyes. Women, Black women, being used, silenced, and pushed aside. She tried to do the right thing. She spoke up. But in the world Tyler Perry built and under Oprah Winfrey's empire, honesty comes with consequences. And Gabrielle paid every bit of it.
Mary Jane contract.
I will never settle for anything less than what I want and what I deserve.
What went down wasn't some scandalous explosion. It was worse. It was slow. It was planned. It was the kind of betrayal that creeps in quietly and leaves scars you don't even see until years later. In Hollywood, silence is more valuable than gold. And when Gabrielle stopped playing that game, the doors started slamming. Since her last appearance in Tyler Perry's 2012 film, she's been completely erased from his billion-dollar empire. Not a cameo, not a whisper, just gone. For someone once invited into the inner circle, her absence said it all. And now she's finally telling us what went down.
Stand up for nothing, you'll fall for everything.
Like many stories in Tinseltown, it all started with one thing: money. Or more specifically, how little she was getting compared to others. Gabrielle became the voice for every Black actress afraid to speak up. At the 2025 American Black Film Festival, during a panel called Sisterhood and Savings, she didn't hold back. "Your team will be like, that's a great number for you," she said, and then she hit us with the real. For me, compared to who? That was the spark. Behind closed doors, she and her circle, Regina Hall, Nia Long, Regina King, started sharing notes, comparing deals, asking hard questions. Who was being offered less? Who was being kept quiet? This wasn't about just acting anymore. It was about survival, legacy, and demanding what they were owed. Gabrielle remembered one moment like a slap to the face. She found out the second lead on a major project was earning more than her, a whole second lead. The disrespect wasn't even subtle, and that story, not rare. Black women in positions of power were being systematically minimized. But Gabrielle and her girls weren't going down without a fight. They strategized, they refused roles, they made the studios sweat. And guess what? It worked. The paychecks started changing. But honey, nothing in Hollywood comes free.
You know, I put in the same hours as most men, and if not more, and I deserve to get paid the same. Equal pay, equal work, and that's how it should be.
Gabrielle paid the price in full, especially when you're in Tyler Perry's kingdom, where silence is worshipped and control is king. As Gabrielle spoke louder, she became the one young actresses turned to for help. She taught them how to read contracts, how to say no, how to walk away with their dignity intact. And every time she lifted someone up, the gatekeepers pushed her further out. It wasn't beef, it wasn't drama, it was exile.
He showed up to my apartment and offered me $100,000 to take my clothes off me. He said, "I don't even need to touch you. I just want to see you."
Gabrielle walked away from more than a man's studio. She walked away from a broken system. And that's when they tried to silence her. The whispers started. Projects disappeared. Friends ghosted her. Because in Perry's world, difficult is a dirty word, and once you get that label, baby, good luck getting a call back. It wasn't just Gabrielle. Writers started disappearing too. Ask the House of Pain writers, ask the Meet the Browns crew, asking for benefits, fired. And at the top of it all were Perry and Oprah. Black royalty, preaching empowerment on camera while allegedly demanding silence in private.
Sell my soul or my, excuse my French, y'all. I know some of y'all, hopefully y'all have no kids around, but I didn't sell nothing for success.
But why break praise? successfully proclaimed patriarchy on camera, but then Black voice went silent. Gabrielle watched it all, and when she dared to speak up, the support, gone. She wasn't calling them villains. She didn't have to. The silence, the patterns, the cold shoulders, that told the story.
Mr. Perry comes in, everything changes. So we literally run the entire episode for him, and he hates it. Does that mean I have to learn a whole new script? Yes, that's what it means.
While Hollywood worshiped Perry for building a studio for Black talent, Gabrielle was asking at what cost and who's being left behind. Then came the bombshell. Actor Christian Keys, someone respected and deep in Tyler Perry's studios, said it plain.
The director is kind of standing on the side like, you better do it, because if not, they will fire you.
Not with names, but with details sharp enough to cut. He spoke of being targeted. A billionaire filmmaker, hush money offers in the six-figure range, recorded conversations, and young Black men on payroll.
Everything. All my gigs gone.
Really?
Everything gone.
His face, you know?
I don't know.
And then he dropped the line that shook the internet. He had tapes, no names. But he didn't need to. All fingers pointed to one name, Tyler Perry. Then came Brandon J., a young actor who told his own story. He'd landed a role as a bullied straight teen, simple, but when he arrived on set, the whole character was flipped. He was suddenly gay, crushing on his bully. No heads up, no consent, just pressure. And when he protested, he was told, adapt or leave. That wasn't direction, that was coercion. And Gabrielle had seen it all before. Power misused, people silenced. She'd been warning about it for years. But no one wanted to listen. Not until the receipts started piling up. And when Christian Keys hinted at deeper abuse. When Brandon J. confirmed that sets could change characters overnight without warning, people started asking, if that's happening on camera, what's going on when no one's watching? Gabrielle didn't even need to say a word anymore. The whole industry was connecting the dots she'd been outlining for over a decade. Then came Tiffany Haddish. Remember when she was everywhere? Tyler's events, red carpets, parties? And then, during her darkest moment, a lawsuit that was later dismissed and proven baseless?
Only for Tyler Perry to admit he did start a rumor that I was difficult to work with.
Silence, complete silence from Perry's empire. No support, no statement, no check-in. Gabrielle took notes. She saw how quickly these so-called friends vanished when a woman was down. That family was never real, and behind all that smoke was the fire Gabrielle had been pointing at all along.
You admitted that, brother. How do you make that right?
You guys, I'm sure you got lawyers. Have you had a conversation?
Well, what happens is when you take somebody at their word, time. We don't need to go to no lawyers, Tyler. You know what you did. Just make it right.
Writers being fired for asking for fair contracts. Perry declaring he'd write every episode himself, not because he was a genius, but because control meant no one else got credit or pay. And let's not even talk about Monique. Gabrielle was watching when she got labeled difficult for saying, pay me for my work, and she saw Oprah, the woman who built her brand on compassion, turn cold. We're not even halfway done yet. Let's get into Oprah. Yes, that Oprah. Gabrielle once looked up to her, saw her as a beacon of empowerment, but when Gabrielle started searching for support, for someone to stand beside her and say, this isn't right, Oprah was nowhere in sight. Not a word, not a gesture, just calculated silence. Gabrielle wasn't alone in feeling that cold shoulder. Monique had already sounded the alarm years ago. Back in 2009, she was the queen of awards season after her haunting performance in Precious. But instead of applause behind the scenes, she got labeled as difficult because she refused to do unpaid press for the film. Let that sink in. She wasn't under contract, she had no obligation, and yet the big names, Tyler, Oprah, and Lee Daniels, allegedly decided she had to be punished for not playing their game. That's when it got ugly. Monique says Tyler Perry straight up lied to executives, told them she was a problem, and then he admitted it was a lie in private. But did he fix it publicly? Not a chance. And the cost? Tens of millions. Monique was once making $2.00 a year, all gone, wiped out by whispers and blackballing. But the worst betrayal?
Reggie Wells said, Monique, I was there that day. He said, and when y'all got off the phone, I looked at her and said, why don't you just pay this woman the money? She deserves it. And she looked at him and said, I won't be paying her nothing. And he said, that's not right, and you know it's not right.
Oprah inviting Monique's estranged family onto her show after Monique had confided in her privately about their pain and trauma. That was the moment Monique said she knew Oprah wasn't who she pretended to be. And that weak group panel apology? If I've done anything wrong, I apologize. That wasn't healing, it was dodging responsibility. Let's not forget the Precious promo run where Monique says Tyler cornered her in a room surrounded by staff. She brought her security in. He allegedly pressured her to do unpaid press, dangling a carrot, a $3.00 $8 million future deal. When she declined, the smear campaign began. Even Oprah's former makeup artist, Reggie Wells, overheard Oprah herself say, "I'd never pay her anything." Monique doesn't want pity. She wants the truth spoken publicly. She wants Tyler and Oprah to stand up in the same spotlight that helped ruin her and say we were wrong. But they haven't. They're still quiet.
Actor and filmmaker Tyler Perry sued for $260 million over harassment allegations. The complaint filed in Los Angeles accuses Perry of creating a, quote, coercive, exploitative dynamic with actor Derek Dixon.
Then came the explosion no one could ignore. In June 2025, actor Derek Dixon sued Tyler Perry and his studio for a jaw-dropping $260 million, 0 cents. The allegations? Harassment, coercion, SA in a hostile work environment. The story? Horrifying. According to Dixon, it started in 2019. Perry spotted him at an event, invited him to his mansion in Atlanta, supposedly to mentor him. Dixon says he drank too much, blacked out, and woke up to Perry touching him. And it didn't stop there. Over the next few years, Perry allegedly used his power, offering roles on The Oval, sending inappropriate texts, and manipulating Dixon to keep quiet. One alleged message read, "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless S?" Another one begged, "Let someone hold you and make love to you. You're missing the best years of your life." And then came the threat disguised as advice. "If you let the cast know, you're opening yourself to questions. Don't give them a reason to play you small." It was mentorship twisted into manipulation, power disguised as opportunity. Dixon tried to keep it professional. He took the roles. He kept quiet. Until Perry allegedly entered his guest house in 2021, pulled down his underwear, and whispered, "Relax, just let it happen." That was the line. Dixon filed a complaint with the EEOC in 2024. A year later, he filed the lawsuit. And suddenly, Gabrielle Union's warnings weren't whispers anymore. They were alarms that had been blaring all along. Because this wasn't just about Dixon. This was about a system, a pattern. One where Black men and women, once they spoke up, were silenced, replaced, erased. Gabrielle Union tried to tell us. She didn't yell. She didn't drag names through the mud. She just quietly stepped back and let the truth surface. Now, the industry is finally listening because Dixon's case gave receipts. Christian Keys gave warnings. Brandon J. gave examples. Monique gave us the blueprint. And Gabrielle Union, she gave us the courage. She'd seen the game for what it was. She'd heard, "That's a great number for you," too many times to keep pretending it was okay. She knew it meant, "Be grateful you're even here." But she wasn't begging anymore. Gabrielle didn't want a seat at someone else's table. She started building her own. She showed younger actresses how to negotiate, how to recognize red flags, and how to walk away from deals designed to keep them small. She supported Monique when the whole industry turned its back. She didn't just speak up, she listened, she believed, and she stood by the ones who got left behind. And now, the mask is off. No one is calling Gabrielle difficult anymore. They're calling her right because she didn't lose herself trying to win in a system built on silence. She told the truth, and now, finally, the world is catching up. Gabrielle Union didn't just walk away from Tyler Perry and Oprah. She walked toward something bigger, integrity. She didn't want the spotlight if it meant dimming someone else's light. She didn't want fame if it meant watching her sisters suffer. She chose truth, and honey, that's the loudest mic drop of them all.